You lazy motherfucker. I know that you clicked on this video to actually procrastinate from the work that you were supposed to be doing, but alas, this video is going to be teaching you about how to use your own laziness to beat procrastination. So pay attention for this, will you? Understand the concept of friction, right? Our brain always takes the path of least resistance because when it takes the path of least resistance, it puts in the least amount of effort, therefore it conserves energy, which is just efficient for our body, right? So we always take the path of least resistance, and our brain always takes the path of least resistance. This is how patterns and behaviors are formed based on the amount of resistance that we feel from doing a particular habit, right? So we're going to use this principle of friction to our advantage, and we're going to use that laziness to actually beat procrastination. There are four pillars to how we can execute this, and the first pillar is going to be proximity. Proximity is essentially telling you about how close something is to you. And when certain things are really close, or like physically very close to you, in front of you, you are more inclined to use them or like follow them in comparison to something that is far away. So for instance, if someone gave me a command to this pick up my glasses from the table right in front of me, I would do it because it's just very easy for me to do so, right? But if someone commanded me to pick something from like a different side of the city, that would be a big hassle because I'd have to find a way to get there. I'd have to get something from there, and then it's just a waste of time, right? So I'd obviously not be able to follow through with that command. The reason is because of proximity. Something is really close to me, therefore I can do this in comparison to something that is far away from me. So the best way that you can use proximity, for instance, is if you need to do a particular task, like if you need to read a book, for instance, right? Keep it very close to you. So if reading is something that you'd like to do right before you fall asleep, just keep a book on your nightstand or keep a book basically near to your bed so that you automatically end up grabbing it because it's so close to you, right? The second pillar that we're going to use is visibility. Now, this is somewhat loosely related to proximity, but visibility is essentially about how when we see something all the time, we are almost reminded or we are attracted to doing it. So that could be something like drinking water per se. Some people struggle with hydration. Some people struggle with being able to remind themselves that they actually need to drink water, right? One of the easiest ways that you can solve that problem would be to simply just place a water bottle in front of you in a way that is visible to you at all times. Therefore, when you glance over and you see the bottle all the time, you'll eventually end up taking a chug, and that'll improve your hydration, right? So that's like the basic concept of it. But you can use visibility to beat that feeling of procrastination because you see it all the time, to the point where it just reminds you, oh, I need to do this. And that triggers action on your end. The third pillar that we can use is the ease of task completion. So let's say that I need to do a particular habit like meditate today. Meditation is something that most people don't really enjoy because they don't really understand it. But putting that aside, meditation can be something that takes up a lot of friction because it just feels like it's this like big thing where you're supposed to sit still and focus, and you can't because your heart's racing and you have 100 things to do in your mind. It just feels like you can't really do it, which is when you use the principle of ease of task completion. And with this principle, all you have to do is just make the barrier for what you would consider acceptable really low. So if I wanted to start off meditation, I wouldn't just sit here and say, yeah, I'm going to do 30 minutes of meditation or like an hour of meditation to start with. I'm going to tell myself, hey, if I close my eyes and I breathe through my nose and out for about 15 seconds, then that counts as me doing meditation, at least at the beginning. That isn't really going to get you the benefits of meditation because it's not long enough, but at the end of the day, it's getting the ball rolling. Those 15 seconds are more than zero. Those 15 seconds count as a tick in your habit tracker, whereas the 0 seconds doesn't. So the ease of task completion is the third principle, and the fourth principle is actually deadlines. I learned about Parkinson's law when I was younger, and Parkinson's law essentially states that work inflates to fit the time deadline that you give it. So if you were given the deadline of finishing an assignment 2 months from now, you would start that assignment maybe 1 month, 29 days from now, and you'd give yourself like a day to finish the assignment. But if I gave you the deadline to finish that same assignment maybe one day from now, you would put in the same amount of effort that you would put in maybe 1 month, 29 days from now that you would for the previous deadline. That's because we work more efficiently when we have deadlines in front of us. And more often than not, deadlines are really extensive and the deadlines are really long. Therefore, we give ourselves a lot of leeway because we procrastinate that. And that we think that's actually to our detriment. But in fact, it's our brain making the smarter choice to conserve our energy right now and instead focus on something else because that's something that we're capable of dealing with later in the future. And the easiest way to use laziness to beat procrastination here is to simply just set a deadline with consequences earlier. So let's say an assignment is due 2 months from now and you really want to finish it in like the next day, right? Give yourself a deadline of 24 hours to finish that particular assignment and tell yourself certain negative consequences. So the negative consequences could be that if you don't finish this assignment in 24 hours, you don't get to go out and meet your friends this weekend. Or if you don't finish this particular assignment in 24 hours, then you're not going to go watch that movie that you really wanted to watch. Whatever it may be, you are giving yourself certain negative consequences. You are telling yourself that you will be punished if you don't follow through with this particular self-set deadline. And therefore, you are much more inclined and much more likely to actually go through and finish the work early. So use these 4 principles to your advantage: proximity, visibility, ease of task completion, and deadlines. Remember that and use these 4 main pillars and tactics to beat procrastination in your life using your own laziness. Because at the end of the day, laziness is hated upon, but it's actually your brain finding the most efficient, energy efficient pathway possible and making life easier for you. So yeah, go give it a shot and let me know if you're actually beating procrastination, and don't actually just skip to the next video and scroll and watch something else. All right, stop procrastinating. Just use what I tell you to do, please, and let me know how it goes. Take care.